Hi guys, it's Julie. Welcome to Hello Monday. Today I'm going to be doing some foil letterpress stationery. I absolutely adore letterpress. It's my favorite form of stationery. It's so luxurious and I love being able to achieve this type of professional, consistent result at home with my Gemini FoilPress. So to start with, I'm going to leave the platform or base powered off. I do not need heat for this portion of it. I'm going to work with a wood grain pattern by Picket Fence Studios. I've got the design up, and I'm going to put some Essentials by Ellen letterpress paper down on top of that, and then the polycarbon plate. I'm going to pull this straight out away from the base and send it through my Gemini Junior, and there you will see I've got the pattern perfectly debossed into the letterpress paper. And let me tell you, it makes a difference the kind of paper that you use as far as the luxuriousness of the end result goes. And I'm going to repeat the process using a deer head by Crafter's Companion because I love deer. I have them all over my neighborhood. So to me, deer are my friends. And I'm going to do a horizontal layout. So I'm just using the grid lines on the silicone mat there to help me plan things out. And I like to rest my hand on top of that polycarbon plate just to make sure nothing shifts while I'm pulling it away from the base and then sending it over to my Gemini Junior. And there you can see that the stag's head and antlers have been beautifully debossed into that letterpress paper. Now, to help me out with my layout, I've determined that a piece of vellum cut to the same size as the platform, this is vellum cardstock, Essentials by Ellen vellum cardstock, and then I used my Hero Arts nesting or infinity rectangle dies, and I chose the 4¼ by 5½ inch, which is a standard A2 card here in the States, because I need that opening and that space to visually help me plan my layouts. And you have to think backwards when you're planning to foil press because you can't see through paper and you can't see through foil. You can't see through metal. So you kind of are working blind when you're doing this. So it helps a lot to have this little visual representation of the layout and where everything is going to go on that layout. So I use a piece of washi tape to anchor it there to the top of the base, and then I can remove it, anytime and just reuse it over and over and over again. So now I'm going to power on the base, and there's two power switches. There's the main power, and then there's the heating element power switch. So I've turned that on, and the light is red on the lowest setting because that's really all I need. I'm working with paper today, so I just need that setting. And I'm working with the paper craft foils, not the multi-surface foils. And I've got my foil impression plate there. It says thank you. This one's by Picket Fence Studios. And I put my polycarbon plate on top because apparently that helps speed up the heating process because it captures the heat there underneath the plate. So I did that, and then once the beeper went off, I was ready to set the timer, put my foil on top, and then I'm going to take my already debossed letterpress paper and use my template here to place my paper down so I know exactly where it's going to go, and everything's going to end up being positioned where I wanted it. So I set the timer for 10 seconds, and then that gave me just enough time to get everything else all into place, and the foil has now been heated up, and then I like to pull it straight out from the base and power it off because I do not want it constantly heating. It will end up overheating the platform and overheating the die, which will then end up giving me kind of bad foiling results. So I like to power it off in between every project that I do. So now I've pulled this out of the machine, and I'm going to peel away the foil, and oh my gosh, this is where it gets so lovely, where you can see all that beautiful reflective foil. This one's a holographic gold glitter, and it debossed, it letterpressed and foiled at the same time right there into that gorgeous wood grain. So I'm going to take my stag and do something similar. I'm going to rotate the platform a little bit so that I can work in a horizontal layout, and I like to position my metal foil stamp there so that I can kind of get an idea where it's going to go on the card front. Then I can flip it over and drop it down onto the platform there and use my template. Everything's all lined up. Go ahead and power that on. And then I'm going to put that polycarbon plate on top to capture the heat and heat that foil stamp up. So while that's doing its thing, I got my foil ready and I got my letterpress paper ready to go. Going to go ahead and take that scrap of foil, which has been trimmed to size. This is the Happy Birthday foil stamp by Crafter's Companion. And then I'm going to go ahead and set the timer so that die is going to heat up against that foil for about 10 seconds. This gives me just enough time to go ahead and place my stag letterpress panel here right over the top, perfectly positioned, and get that polycarbon plate right on top without shifting anything. I don't like to rush when I'm doing this. It's like, oh, slow down. Whenever I rush, I end up bumping it. So it's like, okay, don't rush. Just take your time and relax while you're doing this. So now I've powered it off because I don't want to keep it powered on and continually heating and burning anything out. And there I'm going to lift up my paper and I can take a look there at what I've got. And you can see it's debossed beautifully and foiled perfectly to that letterpress panel. It looks gorgeous. I do have a few little bits of excess foil there that got trapped, and the easiest way to resolve that is to take a sand eraser. Now, because this is letterpress paper and it's very delicate when it comes to an abrasive surface, you do want to use a gentle hand and very lightly sand away that excess foil. Now, on regular cardstock, it can be a little bit more aggressive, but I like to be very gentle on the letterpress paper, and then I just use my little sweeper brush by Tonic to sweep away the flakes after I had used the sand eraser. And as you can see, this creates a beautiful, luxurious combination of letterpress and foiling all together, and it worked really great on that peony plate as well. I had to try them all out and it looked awesome. I hope you give this a try and enjoy it as much as I do. Thanks for watching.